And this year, for the first time ever, we had an event called the North Carolina AI Solve-A-Thon. And so we're going to talk to you a little bit about that today. And the webinar today is called Student Voices from the Solve-A-Thon, because the purpose of this webinar is for you to hear from our 3 state championship teams whose lovely faces you see on the screen. One of our teams will be joining us in a few minutes. And so you'll get to hear from all of these students today. You'll get to see the ideas that they took to the state championship and that won. And then you'll have an opportunity to ask them some questions as well. And the agenda is in front of you now, so you can see kind of the planned times. And we'll end the day today with a student forum where our co-host is going to be asking the students some questions and getting some of their opinions about what they've learned, what they've done, and what they think about AI in education. And so that's our agenda. That's our plan for today. I've already introduced myself, so I'm going to skip that slide. And I'm going to introduce to you today our student guest speaker. His name is Arnav Chauhan, and he was our guest speaker at the state championship as well. And he is an exceptional young man, a senior from Panther Creek High School, also an entrepreneur, and I'll let him tell you a little more about himself. But he is already working full-time at a company called Vitalize as product and operations. And so he's done a lot of things, founded a couple of companies. And he was our speaker at our live event, and he's going to be the co-host today. So this is going to be totally student voices from here on out. And I am going to turn it over now to Arnav, and I'm going to turn off my camera and the rest. Well, first of all, I forgot I was going to go through this slide first, just so those who may not know about the Solve-A-Thon. This is a little bit about it. We kicked it off in September. We had 50 teams across the state from every one of our regions. And in October, we had a runoff, which chose our 10 state finalist teams that went to the state finalists. And when they competed at the state level, we narrowed it down to 3 winning teams, which we have here today. And the whole purpose of the Solve-A-Thon was to empower students with the ability to use AI for good to solve problems in their community. And it was so impressive to see what these students have done. So I'm not going to talk about it much more because I want to give them time and make sure that we allocate all of our time today to hear from them. And so I did just want to recognize our judges briefly. We had some wonderful judges. It wouldn't have been possible without them. And then also our sponsors at PlayLab, Amazon, and Learning.com, who all contributed to make this event possible. And so we wanted to make sure I'd recognize them briefly. And then now I am going to turn it over to Arnav, and I will go ahead and turn it over to you, Arnav.
Awesome. All right, my name's Arnav. Very excited to be here today. I spent quite a bit of time over the past semester trying to figure out how to make school cool again, just because the real world is innovating at a pace that I don't think school is able to match at the moment. And so I'm in San Francisco right now working at a healthcare startup. I'm employee number 23 on the team. It's been going great, a ton of hours, but I founded my first company doing AI video analysis for tennis players back in between my sophomore and junior year. I made out to San Francisco for 3 days to present that to people. And I came back and I realized that the energy in this city is just like off the charts. And so I came home, started Build RTP, where the goal was to just get more people involved with entrepreneurship, building cool stuff, experimenting with a ton of ideas, not being afraid to fail. And so I spent last summer working at the same company here. And then in between that, I just realized that we need to do something. And so I found Ms. Kubera on LinkedIn. She was doing a ton of resources for schools around North Carolina and schools around the country, honestly, of just how do we make it so that the pace that schools are learning at and improving at matches or gets closer to the rate that the world is improving at, just because of every single day there's something changing. And it's very easy to get left behind. And so I'm very happy to be here today and just see what everyone's working on and just see where we're starting. And I'm very excited to see where we're going to be a few years from now. So that being said, I think our first team is Team Future Minds. Yeah. Their project is NC Connect Link. They are from Cabarrus County Schools. Their coach is Nina Darwell. It was created by the sisters Adwita and Satviki. The problem that they're trying to solve is that residents in rural to low-income areas and communities struggle to access critical help like food and legal aid due to scattered info. Like it's never in one clean place. The solution that they made, which I found very cool, is a web app with an AI chatbot. That means that they can listen to what a user needs based off of what they hear and anonymously match them to verified local resources to reduce stigma and make sure that they can get the help that they need. I'll let them take it from here now.
Imagine you just lost your job, your bills are piling up, and you don't know where to turn. Your child is hungry and your health is at risk, and every resource that could help feels impossible to find. In North Carolina, this is a reality for thousands of families, not because help doesn't exist, but because it's hidden, confusing, and hard to access. That's where we come in. We're Future Minds from Coxham High School. I'm Anvita, and today we're so excited to present our app.
Across North Carolina, different resources like food banks, clinics, shelters, and legal aid already exist, but most people simply don't know where to find them. Information is scattered across different websites, hotlines, and long directories. And when someone is stressed or in a crisis, they don't have the time to search different websites or fill out long, complicated forms. So, even though help exists, it still feels out of reach. We realized the real issues were lack of awareness and the systems being too overly complicated.
And that's exactly the problem we wanted to solve. That's why we built NC Connect Link. It's human-centered AI for real-world impact. Our chatbot doesn't just search keywords, it listens like a real person. It turns very complex resource systems into a simple, friendly, human-like conversation. Second, we're closing the gap. Whether it's rent health, food pantries, or mental health support, NC Connect Link guides you even if you don't know where to start.
Let me show you how it works in real life. Need, let's say housing, and then I can just send and it will give me the resources. As you can see, for every resource we have the name, and then we have the address, phone, hours, what services they provide, as well as their website, which you can literally click on and reach their website directly from our app. And now let's say I type in something like food in Charlotte. It will give me the resources without any grammatical errors or anything like that. Let's say I type in mom sick, no money. So it will still understand plain human language as well, and it will give me the resources. Now let's say I type in a typo, so dirham and then jobs. So it will understand the typo and it will still give me the resources. Now let's say I type in something like other than food and housing, legal help in Asheville. See, it will give me the resources. And then our app doesn't just work for urban areas, it will also work for rural areas. So let's say Rocky Mount shelter. So as you can see, it will give me housing resources in rural areas, which is Rocky Mount. And then if you scroll all the way up, then we have our multilingual support. For time purposes, we're just going to go to Spanish and we're just going to type in comida, and notice how everything is in Spanish. It responds in Spanish and it will give the resources, and it will work as efficiently as it did in this version and any other version as well.
So we aren't just looking at numbers, we're looking at crises in our own backyard. Right now, over 1.6 million people are struggling to find basic necessities like food and housing. Our target audience isn't just the people in need, it's people who are overwhelmed. People give up on getting help because the search is just too hard. And we're here to stop that drop off and make sure when someone asks for help, they actually get it faster and more often. So a solution only works if people can find it. That's why we meet our users where they already are. We use QR codes on food boxes and community boards, distribute flyers in local libraries and shelters, and reach out to underserved communities directly. It's all about building trust and a word of mouth.
So behind the scenes, we use natural language processing to understand the intent, fuzzy matching to handle typos, and a structured human verified database of over 75 plus real North Carolina organizations. We tested all the resources manually, and we collect zero personal data, so it's fast, accurate, and safe.
With NC Connect Link, we deliver 4 critical outcomes: faster access to life-saving essentials like food, shelter, and legal aid, fewer misconnections between people in crisis and the services meant to support them, and guidance that builds trust by feeling empathetic, and finally, a tool that meets people exactly where they are.
So you might wonder what actually makes us different. Well, unlike Google or any other general chatbot, we don't give you advice or long list of links. We give you role places you can go right now. It's local, private, and built specifically for North Carolina communities. So it's not any general AI, it's community specific AI. So we tested this app with 25 plus real users across rural and urban counties on different devices like mobile and desktop. And they rated it a 4.2 out of 5 for understanding and a 4.3 out of 5 for ease of use. And 72% of the users said they would definitely recommend it to people in need, and 100% of the users said they would at least consider recommending it. And most importantly, 100% of the users experienced zero crashes or lags, and that told us that our app is reliable, easy, and trusted.
Our journey. So we built this app over 5 weeks through continuous testing and improvement. Starting off with simple prototypes, we added features based on real feedback. After multiple iterations, we reached 100% reliability and expanded our verified database. Every improvement directly came from users' needs.
So here's what's coming next for NC Connect Link. This slide highlights our future vision for our app. We plan to improve location detection so users can automatically find nearby resources with more accuracy, including in rural areas. We also aim to expand it by publishing the app on App Store and Google Play, making it more accessible across North Carolina. Another key focus we have is to build live partnerships with organizations like 211 and local nonprofits to provide real-time verified resource updates. Our goal is to create a statewide impact by supporting all communities with reliable information. Finally, we want to add direct action features like one-tap calling, directions, and appointment booking so users can not only find resources, but also access them more quickly and easily.
So this is our team.
So at the end of the day, this isn't just an app. It's a bridge between people and support because no one should miss help simply because they didn't know where to look. That's NC Connect Link. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Very impressive project. I'm a big fan of it. Really doing cool stuff in the community. So good work. Does any questions from the audience, please?
We will have to have them drop them in the Q&A. And that to access the Q&A, there's a tic-tac-toe board in the lower right-hand corner. We're trying to make sure we don't have anything inappropriate happen today on our call. We've had some issues.
Where can I access the Q&A?
Lower right-hand corner where you see the tic-tac-toe board. And then you can open up Q&A. Right now, there are no questions yet.
Okay, I think when they come, it'll show up.
Okay. Okay, now there is a question. Yeah. Can you see it?
Okay, I see it now. Okay. All right. Brian Whitson is asking, how can you move forward with making people more aware of your app?
So, like we mentioned before, so we want to make sure that we reach people where they're already looking for help. So like, for example, food banks, clinics, shelters, legal, like all of that stuff. So we are going to go there and put some QR codes and all of that. And then we are also going to advertise it through social media platforms so that all the people know it. And then, and also it's word of mouth. So like if one person knows it, then they can just like spread it across different users.
You know, I don't know if you guys have considered this, but it might be fun to just go out in person and literally just walk around and find people that need help and then tell them like what tools they have access to. That might be fun.
I agree.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Okay, there is one more.
So how well does your app work with people who may not read well or who may speak another language? Do you have anything in place to fix that? Is something planned?
So as of right now, we don't have anything for the users who don't know how to read, but we definitely have multilingual support for people who speak another language. We have 7 different languages right now on our app, which is English, Vietnamese, Chinese, Arabic, and Spanish, English, and there's one more language. Uh, we do support that, and they can type in their language, and it will respond in their language, and then so like that they can access it more easily.
Awesome. That's great. All right, then let's move on to the second team. So Team Pine Lakers, they're solving a very, very, very big problem. They're from Pine Lake Prep School. The coach is Coral Riley, and this was created by Prakyat, Gillian, Cooper, and Ankan. The problem that they're trying to solve is inefficiency and long wait times for services at the North Carolina DMV. Massive problem. The solution that they're creating is an AI-driven app and on-site booth system that facilitates document scanning, appointments, and check-ins to streamline the process. I remember their pitch very vividly because they came in with an actual booth that they carried on the stage to show off how their thing worked, and I thought that was very cool to see in person. All right, I will let you guys share your screen and get started on your demo.
Good morning, everyone. We are the Pine Lakers from Pine Lake Preparatory. Today, we're presenting our AI DMV app and booth to increase DMV efficiency.
Miss Riley.
The average North Carolinian spends 1 hour and 3 minutes waiting during every DMV visit just to complete basic documentation, tests, or inquiries. All of us have been to the DMV before and experienced this firsthand. And to find out why, we went to the source. Through our research and interview at the Huntersville DMV with Chris, who's a driver's license examiner, and his coworkers, we learned that Vehicle Services has 375 full-time employees, plus over 200 receptionists statewide. We learned that popular DMVs such as the ones in Huntersville and Mooresville have around 200 customers daily. Numbers this high, paired with the best case scenario of 10 to 12 employees, put a lot of pressure on the employees and long wait times for customers. The current system is inefficient and it needs a clear modern solution. If check-in tasks were automated through an app and booth, many receptionist roles could shift into more essential, high-impact duties, improving overall efficiency.
To collect data on the DMV and our app, we sent out a survey to 75 plus civilians, teachers, and tech professionals. Because of this survey, we learned that the current DMV experience is frustrating. The average rating of the DMV from our survey is currently sitting at 5.19 out of 10. However, our app has an average rating of 4.36 out of 5, with more than half of the respondents rating it a 5. The most common feedback we got from users is that they would much rather use our app's check-in method than the current DMV's check-in method. This proves that if we got the chance to implement our app into the DMV, it would provide a positive impact. Next, we're going to show our demo video of our app in action.
These are some of the new features that we added to our app. So we included multi-language support and ADA compliant tools for speech, hearing, and vision. We also added an AI chatbot to clarify DMV rules and answer user questions instantly. And we integrated a visual map to find and navigate to the nearest DMV easily. And it uses only the last 4 digits of your social security number to pull personalized driving records. And it also does a calendar sync that triggers a prioritized renewal flow 60 days prior to when your license is about to expire. It does a weekly web scraping for 100% accurate pricing for accurate pricing locations and live wait times. Generates a custom what to bring checklist so that users are never turned away and that they're prepared. Breaks down all taxes, transaction fees, and shows the final payment, and gives you integrated practice tests and direct links to book or pay online. And it also does encryption, so all the user data is wiped immediately after usage. And it has a fully responsive UI system for use on any mobile device.
Our second solution is a self-service DMV booth, which we modeled in Onshape. We also built a 1:2 scale model of the booth in real life that we brought to the previous event. When visitors enter the DMV, they can scan documents, complete check-in steps, and confirm that they have everything needed before reaching the counter. This reduces long lines and prevents people from being turned away for missing items. We recommend assigning 1 booth for every 20 people entering the DMV on average daily.
To build our system, we use Base 44, which pulls from the large language model Claude 4.56 Sonnet. We verified all answers against official DMV requirements, and we also use ChatGPT and Google Gemini as additional tools. To power our booth and app, we implemented RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation, to allow the AI to cross-reference user questions with our database of verified DMV forms and fees. By anchoring our AI to these specific documents, we've ensured that our AI is a reliable guide that eliminates misinformation and provides only official up-to-date guidance.
Our process had 4 main steps. The first was identifying the problem. We found unclear instructions, wait times, and outdated systems. Our second was brainstorming. We decided to create a dual app and booth solution. Our third step was prompting the chatbot through PlayLab, but then we transitioned to Base 44 for more features. And then fourth, we iterated and tested the chatbot. We did over 100+ rounds of testing, validating outputs with multiple AI tools, and fixing the memory each time errors appeared.
We iterated across 4 major areas. Number 1 was uploading addresses directly from official DMV sites. Then number 2 was adding payment information cross-checked with Gemini and ChatGPT. Number 3 was uploading study materials from Quizlet for permit test prep. And number 4 was testing and memory updates. Every time the chatbot gave a wrong fee or address, we then went in, corrected the reference, updated the memory, and retested it. These iterations made the chatbot increasingly more precise and reliable, specifically 90 out of 100 times that we tested it.
During this whole iteration process, we faced a couple of challenges in making the chatbot. So we had to ensure that addresses matched the correct zip codes, and we had to verify accurate pricing information. We had to make sure formatting the responses were clear for the users, and we also had to prevent the AI from answering anything outside of the DMV topic. So addressing these challenges taught us how important careful prompting, reliable references, and ethical constraints are while developing an AI chatbot. So some future enhancements that we'd like to do are in-app booking that saves to the DMV system and updates the website and log, and strong privacy controls, such as minimal data collected, secure storage, and clear consent.
Thank you for listening. Our AI DMV booth and app create a clearer, faster, and more modern solution for the DMV experience in North Carolina. We're excited about the real impact this solution could have. We're happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Questions in the Q&A, and then we can have those out for people. So you guys visited the DMV, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So for part of our research and interviews, I conducted one interview with a guy named Chris. He was a driver's license examiner. And that's where we got a lot of data specifically for the Mooresville and Huntersville location. He said that they have around the same amount of customers, and that's where I got the around 200 people a day, 300 on weekends number. And on top of that, we also filmed an elevator pitch there for a separate competition as well.
Did they make you wait in line to ask them the question, or?
So actually what was convenient was I was going to get my level 2 permit, and I was already talking to Chris. He was the person who I was actually assigned to for when I was getting my license. So I took my photo there and everything. And afterwards I came back and asked him if I could ask him a few questions. So
awesome. Way to be resourceful. We have a question. Will you have the opportunity to share this with anyone in authority in NC that could make this like a reality for people to use?
Yeah, so essentially in the next month or so, we're actually going up to the governor's office to speak about possibly implementing this in further steps. We're really excited about that. We've already, submitted for another competition that allow us to get further awareness of the issue and with our possible solution being implemented. We also are talking to DMV officials all over, just trying to get further and further with more awareness. And I think that it's actually going down a path where it is possible that it's implemented across North Carolina.
That's great. It would be much appreciated. I can tell you that much. Definitely reach out to your senators as well for your district. They would probably be a big fan of this as well.
Yeah.
For them, anyone that's like fixing the DMV is like easy wins. So,
yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions for them before we move on? Okay. I think we are good to move to the third team. Did they make it in time or?
I think the team is here. I just admitted Chris. I'm going to make him a co-host so that he can share and all of that. And Stephanie, I made you a co-host as well if some of the students are with you. There they are.
So, quick overview of Team Bird Brains. They're from Cumberland County Schools. Their project is the Jade Book, coached by Miss Stephanie Van Sciak. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And created by DeMarcus, Chris, Camille, and Tremaine. So the problem that they found that I personally know, because I have family in Fayetteville, is the homelessness crisis in Fayetteville and the difficulty that unhoused citizens face in finding scattered resources. Problem is, the resources are there, they're all over the place. No one, they're fighting to figure out if they can eat tonight or if they have a place to sleep safely. They don't have time to go and look through 10 different places to find all the resources they need. The solution that the Bird Brains made is the Jade Book, which is an app and website featuring an AI chatbot that connects users to verified local resources using natural language queries. I will let you guys take it from here if you're ready.
Okay.
Hello, I'm DeMarcus.
Hello, I'm Chris.
Hello, I'm Camille.
Hello, I'm Tremaine, and we're the Bird Brains from Fayetteville, North Carolina. We're here to tell you about our project, the Jade Book. Our hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina, faces a significant homelessness crisis. Fayetteville, in particular, has a disproportionately high unsheltered population. The Fayetteville homelessness crisis is unique because of several factors, including a shortage of affordable housing, veteran transition challenges, and limited access to healthcare, just to name a few. Our project, the Jade Book, provides an all-around solution to the homelessness crisis, both in Fayetteville and beyond. Our app has different interfaces for users who are people in need and providers, which are organizations who can provide help.
When users first access the app, they complete a needs assessment survey to target their most immediate needs. They will then have access to resources like a chatbot for mental health services, locations of local food banks, shelters, veteran affairs, and addiction services. Our companion website also offers a calendar of upcoming helpful events. There are also educational outreach programs, childcare providers, a resume builder, and local weather information. Our app and website also have a translation feature for many different languages. There are also several accessibility features to help users. These include color contrast, simplified mode, dyslexia mode, text-to-speech, text size, and more. All personal user information is protected with a password and email verification. Our app is also helpful for the providers. They will have access to privacy-protected assessment information to help target areas with the highest unhoused populations. They can also use the app to promote their programs and services directly to the people who need them the most.
Why did we choose to name the Jade Book? We took reference from the Victor H. Green's 1936 guidebook titled The Negro Motorist Green Book, which helped people of color travel safely during segregation. We updated our name to the Jade Book because jade is a precious stone, and we make our project have many precious resources.
Why did we decide on homelessness? Not only is it something we see every day in Fayetteville, but it is also a problem that arising all over the United States and the world. We used AI in several different ways for our project. Not only did we embed AI features, including the app features in the app, including the GPS location services, a mental health chatbot, language translator, and accessibility features, but we also added AI to help us with the project. We use ChatGPT for ideas and Canva for graphics.
Because our app is designed to help people, real people, we also interview several providers in our area. This includes laundromat owners, shelter administrators, and other charity workers.
We also created a companion website for the app. We did this for users who do not have a Wi-Fi device. They can access the Wi-Fi from a public computer, like at a public library. Our website contains the same features as our app, including a problem-solving chatbot and location services. It has a public calendar of events where local organizations can post their upcoming events.
Here are all of the resources we use for our project. Up next is our app demonstration video.
Should we play the video?
Welcome to the JBook app demonstration. First, on the home page, we can start the needs assessment, immediately browse for resources around the world, get an overview of how the app helps the community, review our story on how the app came to be, and view a few common crisis hotlines. Let's go ahead and start the assessment. For the sake of time, let's go ahead and assume the worst for our user. After the assessment, we're given a few categories of assistance that can be searched for. Let's pick a random one and continue. Here, in order to properly utilize the GPS and zip code database that has been incorporated into our app, we need to choose our state and optionally our zip code as well. I'll choose North Carolina, for example. Now we can see resources in North Carolina tailored towards the assistance category we searched. And if we search for all resources, we get access to multiple categories in North Carolina. We can also see the resources location, phone number, availability, and website if applicable. Finally, the users can also get the directions of the resource based off of where they're at.
Thank you for your support.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Thank you guys. All right. Let's see if we have any questions. There it is. Any questions for Bird Brains can go in the Q&A and then I'll go and say them out loud. Have you been able to share your app with any of the city organizations in Fayetteville yet? I know we talked about it a little at the thing, so I'm curious if anything came out of it.
I'm working with my school social worker right now, and we're trying to get it off to the student resource at my school because I go to a different school than them. So tomorrow I'm meeting with the social worker, and she's gonna help me with the principal. So hopefully it could be offered as a resource by the end of the school year, or even to next year.
It's amazing. I love that. Okay. I am going to do.
There's
You
a
have you have a shout out for thinking about those that don't have access to a connected device. Your work shows so much thoughtfulness and empathy. That was from Molly Holloman. So good for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is it time for our student forum?
yes, it is. Unless there-
Perfect. So I'm going to start by asking some very open-ended questions to all of you, and I hope all of you can answer to some extent. But it's like throughout, like while you were creating this and like you found a problem in your community, you made a solution. Like what were some of the things that were like the most fun or impactful for you guys while you were building this?
Okay, so for me, I really learned like how to take an idea and turn it into something real and meaningful, and that could really help for the community. And I also developed many skills like problem solving, teamwork, and really thinking from others' perspectives. And I also learned how to use AI to support creativity and decision making. And most importantly, it taught me that even as a student, I can create something that has a real impact.
That's great. I love that. Anyone else?
Okay, for me and my group, honestly, I just felt like I enjoyed being able to go out in my community and see essentially what was going on and what struggles they were having independently. I think the DMV efficiency is a universal experience to going in and waiting in a long line. And so I just enjoyed being able to not just solve that problem, but also like make advocacy for it and learn a little bit about what AI can really do in little inefficiencies in day-to-day life.
I love that. The company I'm working at right now, we make software for hospitals. And what we noticed is that nurses are spending way too much of their time manually figuring out schedules for their staff. And that means that like they're spending up to 8 hours a week. And like it's been so fun for me to just like see how we made something that makes it so that they don't have to be doing this stuff manually and on paper, and we can automatically like intelligently optimize their schedules so that they get to spend more time with their patients, which is like they didn't go to school to do paperwork, like go through all of nursing school to do paperwork. They want to take care of patients. And so we're able to free them to do that. And I think impacts like that show like you can serve your community in more ways than like directly. And so it's just like indirectly, you can help people that are serving your community directly. You can help them do that job better. And so that's a great thing to be doing. What about some things that like you learned during the project? Like what was some of the like biggest things that you were like, oh, I didn't know that's how it was done before. And you're like, it's good to know that now.
Well, for us, or me really, working on the back end of the app, really I learned like before I didn't really like combine like different languages together, like programming languages together and like make a backend like really work. I only worked on like a single language and a single like thing. But for this project, I had to actually go and create multiple files, organize it, and then use multiple languages. So I think that's what I really learned. I think it was really fun.
It's awesome.
So, like, while making the chatbot, like, I learned a lot of stuff. So, first, like, prompting and like adding references. Like, that was pretty fun, but also challenging at the same time. Like, for example, I had to get like a visual map, like just getting that with all the accurate like average timings and all the correct color coding. That itself was kind of challenging, but also was something good that I learned.
That's great. And you know, this is awesome. 2026 is the year of the idea guy, is what people are saying, because it's so easy to just have an idea and just like make it now. And it's like, there's no barriers anymore. So you guys are doing really cool work because like you had an idea and you made it. And that's great. And this goes for like all of our guests too, like teachers as well. Like if you have an idea, like nothing's stopping you from making it. There's a ton of free tools out there. And like, it's very exciting to see like where we are right now, for better or for worse. As students, what are your hopes and fears about AI?
I'm really hoping that about AI because it has really good potential to solve important problems and make people's life more easier, like helping connect communities resources. And at the same time, I do have some concerns about how it's used, and especially if it replaces human thinking or if it's just not used responsibly, I guess. And I think it's really important that we use AI in a balanced way where it actually supports people but doesn't take away our thinking.
Great.
Yeah, I agree to that. Like, I think the biggest fear I have about AI is like misusing it. For example, many people or like some people, they don't have awareness of how to use AI. They just like put in their personal info into AI and then it misuses it and all of that. So I think that's one of the things that like really concerns me. But I definitely think AI can like create jobs while it still replaces people from their jobs, but in the future, it will definitely create jobs for people.
Very cool. Now, any other answers to that? Or?
I would like to answer that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so like it's like pretty much what everyone else has been saying. The problem isn't using AI. The problem is using it for the wrong reasons. Like it's important that you know how like the ethics behind AI, like who it belongs to and all that and stuff of that nature.
There's a it's funny how like everyone was talking about robots and AI and how it's going to like remove all the boring work, and it's like humans won't have to do any of the repetitive boring work. But what's happening is a lot of people are just outsourcing their critical thinking to AI, which means that our opinions and like what we believe in become like whatever our AI believes in. And it's like that's very dangerous because that means like we're not thinking on our own anymore. So it's like it's really funny how like to succeed in the world like 10 years from now, like can you form your own opinion and like have evidence and like form a conclusion with that evidence? And it's like that'll be such an important skill that like people won't have because they used AI like irresponsibly. Now, if you had a magic wand, what would you change about school today, like the classes you're going to like tomorrow, to incorporate more of the stuff that you learned like while you were making this? Like how would you make it so that school helps you do this instead of you doing this outside of school?
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead.
One of the biggest things I changed about the school system is the lack of hands-on learning. One thing I like about Douglas Byrd is we have an AI class, which is how we got into this project. And being able to actually use AI in a way that would help other people getting on that hands-on experience rather than just sitting in a classroom and learning what's on the board, so to say. It truly like changes your perspective on what you're learning. It makes you feel better about what you're learning. More hands-on, you're more in tune with what's going on.
100%. I love that.
Okay, so I think that school should more focus on like real world and project based learning where students can actually solve real world problems. And I feel like we should also like offer like more opportunities to learn about technology and AI in like hands-on way. And technical skills like creative thinking, collaboration, problem solving is really important too because those are the skills that they'll need in future and no matter what career we go into. So that's really important too.
That's good. And anyone else have an answer?
I would like to answer that one.
Go ahead.
And it's one I've been thinking about because I actually do want to become a teacher. So I'm thinking we should be, like I've said, like two things. One thing is incorporate passion-based learning some way because that's the problem. That's why scores are getting lower because kids are not interested in what you're learning. And they feel like it's not going to be useful for the real world. So incorporating their passions into the lessons is going to be useful. And another way, in terms of AI integration, like I would actually encourage students to use AI to help them, like similar to Google Learn Your Way, which is new. So what you do is you give it your textbook notes. It's still in beta though, but what you would do is give it your textbook notes. And then what you're interested in, it'll help you, it'll explain the topic to you based off your interests. That's something I think students should be using. Not with ChatGPT, but probably with Gemini, Claude.
That's cool. So now I'm really curious is what if, so there's a few teachers on here today. They're not your teachers probably, but like they're teachers regardless. A problem that a lot of teachers have, and this is like from what I've seen of just like trying to make it so that like we can incorporate more of this technology stuff, is that they aren't given the support that they need from like the system. So it's like the bosses, who runs the district, who runs the state like education board. They aren't always giving the support to allow teachers to experiment and find things that happen and just like have enough time in the day. And so what are some things that you think teachers should be doing that is just like a shift from like what they're currently doing? Nothing major that's going to completely break everything, but it's like what's something small that teachers could start doing to make school like more interesting and engaging?
So I feel like teachers, like, again, there's different subjects obviously, but like what teachers could do is that they could based on those specific subjects, I think the teachers could teach the students on how to use AI in a way that would both, again, benefit them in that class again, and also benefit them in learning how to use AI in unique and different ways. For example, maybe in history class, you wanted to make a map, you would learn how to correctly prompt the AI to make a map. And again, you learn about it. And in math, you can ask it to explain you about different math topics. So those are some stuff that teachers could do, teach you about AI. And again, teach you how to use AI in those specific classes.
Interesting. Good to know.
What I feel like teachers should do is apart from just explaining what their lesson is, maybe just for example, I think this will more likely be for classes which focus on problems of the community or something like that, not explicitly but indirectly, just talking about the society and stuff. So in those type of classes, they could just go beyond it and be what would you do to solve those problems, and then maybe they can slowly bring in AI to help you solve those problems and stuff, so that students don't feel oh, so why is she going from this to this, and then it's not a very sharp transition, but it's a smoother transition into incorporating AI.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree to what she said, and I also think connecting more to real life scenarios and asking students why it really matters to us, and using more interactive activities like discussions or group projects can really make a big difference. And also giving students some choice, picking topics or how they want to present their work feels really involved. And also bringing technology in a meaningful way, using AI tools in a meaningful way can also make it more interesting.
Nice. So now I'm going to ask a fun question. Imagine that your teachers are now the students and you guys are now the teachers. Now that you've made an AI tool and used AI to build a product and stuff, how would you teach your teachers to make more tools for fun? Where should they start? What are things they need to check out today, right after this call? And then it's just what are things they need to keep in mind as they keep on going? How do they use AI responsibly? What advice do you have for your teachers?
Well, what I think personally is that they should just it's solving a problem doesn't require you to research much, at least for the problem part, because in their everyday life there might be some kind of issue they're facing, maybe some kind of issue, it might be small, but still they could just look into that issue and really focus on that and maybe think of some possible solutions to that, and then slowly get into the process. And then now that we have many free online tools available for us to help us out to solve that problem, they could just explore those tools and then just build a solution for that problem.
Awesome.
I would say start identifying your real problem and what affects people, because that's what makes a project impactful. And just research the problem, brainstorm ideas, and just simple tests. And I would really say collaborate and stay open to feedback, because best ideas come from teamwork and different perspectives. And just
Prakyat, I think you were saying something.
One thing I would do personally is incorporate good ethical uses of AI. Typically, teachers have a vendetta against it. Students are cheating, but instead, I feel like if we were the teachers, we could. I'm search for. We could incorporate good ways to use it rather than just I'm losing it.
A productive way to use it instead of completely canceling it.
There we go. Yes, sir.
So luckily me and Prokyoth, another member of our team, actually got to teach teachers about AI and especially prompting. And so, once again, if I was in that teacher position, I would first teach the essentials of prompting and allowing their students to fully understand the specifics of what they'd be putting into a chatbot, and going forth into hallucinations and also like the importance of security with AI and allowing to make sure that AI is not getting any personal information that they can then transition into an answer. I do think that it's important to start at a baseline level of I agree with some of these other answers, going through an entire process of finding a problem in an area, researching it, prompting AI for a solution, and sort of doing little simulations like that to fully understand how AI can work and how it's useful in the real world. Do you want to?
Yeah, I like to add on to that. So most people know how to like use AI tools, but again, if I were the teacher, I'd actually like teach them on how it works, like in detail and in depth. So for example, we were talking about the RAG system. So I would teach them stuff about that and how like in depth to the RAG system, chunking, embedding, tokenization, and all those stuff related to the RAG system. Because people know how to use chatbots. Most of the people now know how to use normal LLMs. But again, learning in depth about how it operates internally is what's going to be important. So I'll teach them about that. And again, since we're transitioning from the LLM stage to the agentic AI stage now, again, I would teach them about how agentic AI is using LLMs and how it's somewhat different in a way.
Great answers from everyone. That made me very happy. And you're completely right. Like, people don't understand how these things work. And so then they're scared of it because everywhere you're like, oh, AI is taking all the jobs, or like AI is gonna like ruin our lives. And then you're like, okay, why am I cut off all AI? And it's like, then we miss out on the productive uses of AI, where it's like we're helping it to like teach ourselves things that we can't like learn in class, or like we need additional support in like X area, and it's like it can provide that. And so it's like there's a ton of very good uses for it, but we need to be mindful of like how easy it is to like, it's a slippery slope. And so that is 325 for you guys, or 425 for you guys. And so I think that's my time. But I would like thank you guys so much. Like, this was very amazing. Great answers from everyone, great pitches, great demos. And I think all of you should have my email. If you don't, it'll get to you somehow. But it's like, please, like, feel free to reach out whenever. Like, this made me very like excited inside. And like, I'm not showing it right now, but it's like I'm very happy to see how these next few years are going to look like once we get more stuff like this off the ground. You're muted, I think.
Muted. Thank you so much, Arna. Thank you to all the students. And I agree with him. It is amazing. And I'm very impressed with what you guys have created. And I hope that you're all continuing to build, continue to iterate on these ideas, continue to come up with new ideas, because this really is the future. And you guys have skills that the majority of the population do not have, let alone most students your age. And so you're really ahead of the game, and that can really help set you up for the future. But you're also given me hope for the future. As I said at this competition, the future's bright with people like you to help guide it. And so I hope that you will do that. And I hope that I'd like to follow all of you and find out what you're doing in the future. So if you're doing something cool, tag me. I'd love to know about it. And thank you so much, coaches, as well. We really appreciate the support. It's amazing what students can do when they have this kind of support and this kind of freedom, intellectual freedom to use AI for good. And you all have done an amazing job. So thank you so much. I would like to ask for feedback. I've dropped a feedback form in the chat. This webinar is a little different from most of our webinars, but we do value your feedback and would love to know what we can do better. And I look forward to seeing all you guys in the future. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.